So I'm wearing my Pittsburgh Steelers shirt today. And
About time.
in honor, this is Mickey Mouse.
Right.
In honor of that, I was going to ask you about sports, because that's something that when I was growing up, you always talked about sports, whether it was baseball, football, basketball, and then later on, golf. But when you were a kid, can you think of what was the first sport that you got into and what hooked you for life after that?
I think baseball was probably my first sport because I started when I was like 6 years old in a Pee-wee league. They called it a Pee-wee league back in those days. And I was left-handed, so they put me on first base. From that point on, that's all I ever played was first base until I was like 50 years old and playing a fast-pitch softball, and I played third base. But I never played in the outfield, just the infield. In high school, I played shortstop till I got hit in the eye with a baseball, and I decided I didn't want to play shortstop anymore. Ball took a bad hop, hit me in the eye. The stitches from the baseball was on my face for about a month. You could see the seams where it hit me. So when I was 6, we had this Pee-wee league, and everybody was afraid of me because I hit the ball so hard. And can you imagine you're 6 years old and the coach tells you that you don't swing so hard? I only knew one way, and it was to swing hard. That's all I knew how to do. All the other kids, they couldn't even put the bat down when they hit the ball. They would throw it. And sometimes even at first base. So it was like, I remember this at 6 years old because it was traumatic that kids were throwing the bat. And the coach would always yell, this is on both teams, don't throw the bat. I never had that problem. I just hit the ball hard and just laid the bat down and ran. So I can remember that. And then wiffle ball. I don't know if you remember wiffle balls. The little plastic balls with plastic bats. We would play out front of the house where I lived, and there was houses on the left, and then there was houses on the right, but there was a big hill or a hole, and a house was down there. And I guess I'm now 8 or 9 years old, and, I haven't played Little League Baseball yet because they didn't have that league then. And I was too young, I think. But anyway, with the wiffle ball, I would always lose the wiffle balls or break the bat or break the ball or hit it in somebody's yard, and we couldn't get the ball back. So then I had to learn how to hit the ball to the left side because I always hit the ball to the right side because I swung so hard. So I tried batting right-handed. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do anything right-handed. So I just stuck with playing left-handed. I'd hit the ball to the left side. So when I throw the wiffle ball at you, it's not straight. It just zigzags all over the place. It never mattered to me. I would always hit the ball. And then about that age, about 8 or 9, 10, I used to hit rocks. I had this old bat, and I used to hit rocks and bottle tops. And I think that helped me to develop my eye and hand-eye contact. But I could always hit a ball no matter what. Like I said, when I remember being a little kid just starting, we didn't have uniforms. They just put a shirt on it. I remember that first shirt I had, it was Capuzzi's. It was a grocery store that sponsored our team. It was Capuzzi's. And it was a maroon shirt. I remember this at 6 years old. Now, you got to remember, that's almost 70 years ago. And I still remember playing on this field. And the field was not the best. It was behind this hotel that finally burnt down. And I think I was gone, and I was in the military when it burnt down. But the field was okay, but it wasn't the best. But the parents would get out there and they'd make the kids pick up rocks and anything on the field and clean it. And at 6 years old, and line the field and all that sort of stuff. So you kind of learned a little discipline. You have to come to the game early, and you have to clean the field, clean the garbage cans. But when you're a little kid, you don't even think about it. I thought about it later on in life, and it's like, what were they doing? So it wasn't like going to a ball field and everything is clean and everything looks new. And like in Phoenix, there's so many ball fields. That wasn't how I grew up. In fact, that hotel was a bar also. And when you played on Saturdays, you would see the people that were still drinking were still there. Their cars were, in the outfield. And this is a field that just got better and better, and they made it into a field as I grew older, and we used to play Legion ball there. And that was, I think, for Legion ball, you had to be between 14 and 18 years old. But I used to play in leagues that were advanced in age versus my current age. Like when I was 10, and I don't think you could get into Little League back in those days, but I played in the team because I was so good. So, they had me playing when I played first base. So as I grew up with baseball, that became my number one sport. I didn't start playing basketball till I was about 12 because I really didn't even like it. And I didn't like football, but all I liked was baseball. So during my Little League years, I played with this team. I think it was Republic was the name of the town. And later on, I'd play in Brownsville and then Uniontown. So Uniontown had the best fields, and there was more people coming there to watch you and all that sort of stuff. But they also had the best kids, the stronger kids, the bigger kids, the kids that had really nice fields and all of that. So I kind of progressed to that, and they put me on this team in Uniontown, and because I lived about, maybe 8 miles from Uniontown. And so I played in this league in Uniontown. So that's where I played Little League along with Republic, because I remember playing both. I just can't remember how that happened. But when they had like the Western Pennsylvania playoffs and all that sort of stuff, I actually played with Republic because we advanced further than any of the other teams. I can't remember, it so long ago, but I do remember playing for both teams. I liked Uniontown because there were so many people, but I was really shy back in those days. But there were so many people, and the fields were really nice, and people would always buy you sodas and give you stuff to eat, free hot dogs and things like that. In Republic, good luck. The coach would bring candy bars or something, some kind of candy to give you, and then Kool-Aid. That was it. Uniontown, it was like going to the bigs. You had the sodas and popcorn and hot dogs and much as they could give you. None of that stuff was good for you, but you're a kid, you don't know. It tastes good, so the heck with everything else. But
and this was the 50s.
Hooked me, and maybe not so much today. I like basketball probably better than baseball. Baseball's boring to me now. But I was a pitcher. Oh, that's right. I was a pitcher also. I forgot about that. And I was kind of wild. And I threw the ball really hard. So none of the little kids were afraid of me, so they wouldn't get in the batter's box. So I struck out a lot of kids. And then when I went to high school, I was a freshman on the baseball team and, lettered my 4 years in baseball. But I played first base, shortstop a little bit till I got hurt, and pitcher. So I did that up into high school. During the summertime, you would play, like I said, the Legion ball. But when I was 16, I played semi-pro ball, and they called it sandlot ball back in those days. And you'd play with men. And these, they're a lot stronger than you when you're 16 years old. But I could always hit no matter what, especially fastball. If you threw fastballs at me, I'd kill you. Curveballs were a little bit harder to hit, and I didn't have the strength because I was only 16, so I wouldn't hit it as far, but I could still hit it. And I was a line drive home run hitter, so it was never the long looping home runs. I'd hit line drives. Everything was off to the right. Now they have this major league shift where they take the shortstop and they put him behind second base. The second baseman moves over near the first baseman, and they have this shift, and there's no third base. The third baseman moves over just beyond shortstop. But they would do that when I was, between 12 and 14. Teams would play me that way because I would only hit it to one side. But here we go again. I'd hit the ball so hard, it hurt kids. The ball came to him so fast. And I remember hitting the kid in the chest, and I thought he was going to die. He was laying on the ground, gasping for breath. But I've always hit the ball hard. So here I am, 16 years old, playing with these men. And at first it was a little scary because they're so much bigger than me. And they throw the ball harder. But it really helped me in high school and to get my confidence of being able to hit a fastball. So I played semi-pro, and I think I got like $5 a game. But back in those days, remember, gas was 10 cents a gallon. You could buy a loaf of bread for 15 cents. You could get a soda for 5 cents, and they had a 2-cent deposit on the bottle. So $5 was a lot of money. So they would buy me spikes. They'd buy me a glove. You get to keep your hat. They'd buy you socks, things like that. So that was my first taste of, somebody paying me money to play baseball. So then, and actually it's probably illegal, and there's no signed contracts, but, you get paid. And after the game, they would actually give you $5. And sometimes they would take it out of a concession stand, because I remember them paying me in like 5 ones, sometimes $4 and then 4 quarters. It's kind of weird when I think about it now, but back in those days, I was Mr. Big, had money in my pocket playing baseball. So then, Legion Ball, we went to, Williamsport, and we played there, and we came out second in the state. And then that was probably the highest I went with any team. We never really won anything big, but that was the highest I went. But I can remember people trying to get me to move, get my parents to move to a different town so I could play with them. But the parents who raised me, they weren't my real parents, but my foster parents, they were all about money and any way they could make money, but they didn't want to move because they couldn't afford to move. And I don't think these people were giving them a job. I don't know all of that. I was completely out of it, but all I did was play baseball. So baseball was a sport that I kind of did better than any of the other sports. I was okay in basketball. Football, I was pretty good, but baseball was my primary sport. So then my last game playing baseball, there were scouts that were looking at me. And I was in a high school game, and this pitcher threw me a curveball, and I hit it on the end of the bat, and it went to shortstop. Remember I told you everybody shifted over? So the third baseman was playing almost where the shortstop was. So I hit it on the end of the bat, and the ball was spinning and spinning and spinning. And I just kind of took my time down first baseline because I had kind of a temper. And I was mad that I had hit the ball to the left side, and I didn't hit it very hard. So, and then I thought the guy was not going to be able to play it because the ball was spinning so much. And because when you get a ball like that, it's just spinning, and you have to stop it from spinning or to pop out your glove. So I'm thinking, I'm just going to make it down first base, no problem. I wasn't that fast to begin with, but I'm just taking my time, and the guy throws me out. Then I see this guy come from the stands. He goes over to my coach, and he said something to him. Then the coach came over, and he said, that was a scout from the Brooklyn Dodgers. I don't know where the Dodgers were, New York Dodgers, whatever they were. Came over and said, they were scouting you, but they saw you loafing down first base, so they're no longer interested. So, and then the coach came and told me that, and me and this coach really never got along. He was kind of a yeller screamer. He was always yelling and screaming no matter what you did. I remember if you break a bat, he would get mad. So I only broke one bat my whole high school career. And I'm like, oh no, this idiot's going to come and yell at me. His name was Polak. Never forget this guy. And he would always go, you the man, you the man. That's before you the man was popular. Nobody ever said that, but you'd be pitching and he'd come out, you the man, just put it over the plate, strike him out, you the man. The guy was nuts. But anyway, I thought he was going to yell at me. So he comes over, and because I hit a single, I hit it off the bat, or the inside of the bat, and it broke the bat. And I was on first base, and he comes over because he's coaching first base, and I'm like, oh, here comes this idiot. He's going to yell at me for breaking a bat. So the first thing I said, I don't remember exactly, but I said something like, I'm sorry for breaking the bat, because he'd make you run laps. If you broke a bat, he'd make you run laps in practice. Well, this was like my last high school game, so I wasn't really worried about that, but I didn't want him yelling at me. So he comes over and he says, you the man. And I'm like, uh-oh. He's trying to be funny. And then he said, I'd trade a base hit for a broken bat any day. Okay. So I think, we won that game. I hit the longest home run in Pennsylvania history. It wasn't a paper. I used to have an article about it, but it got lost. We were playing at this college field. It was Waynesburg College, and it was a football field. But they put a baseball field in the east side of the field. And so from center field to left field, you'd never hit it over the fence because it was so far away. But in right field, it was only like, 290 feet down the line. Remember, I'm a left-hand batter, and I pulled the ball. So there was this pitcher. His name was Vic Worry. He was my friend. In fact, we played minor league baseball together. But he was kind of the pitcher, and Pennsylvania was the top guy. I thought he was going to be Sandy Koufax because this guy was smooth. And so he was pitching against me. But he was my friend because we played in all-star games together. So he hit me the first time. He hit me in the neck. And so I had a chain on, and the ball hit so hard, it broke the chain. And I had a cross on it. So I couldn't find it. But when I took off my uniform, it was in my pants legs. It just slid down my neck and went down my pants. But anyway, the next time up, he hit me again. He hit me in the back. So the third time up, my mind is saying, you stay in there no matter what. The ball comes at you, you stay in there. The other side of my mind said, hell no. That ball comes anywhere near you, get out of the way. So the first pitch the third time that I came up, he'd already hit me twice, was an inside pitch. And so the right side was saying, stay in there, stay in there. The left side was saying, get the hell out of there. Get out of there. You're going to get hit again. All of this is a matter of seconds. And so I moved my body to the right, but my hands and my bat were to the left. And he threw me a curveball, and I hit it down the line, it went past the football lights. It went under the lights and landed on this train that was passing by. The train ended up going to someplace it was near Williamsport, where the Little League World Series is. It was someplace near there that train went. And the next day they had an article in the paper. They had a picture of Babe Ruth. They had a picture of me. And they were showing the swings. And they showed my swing is exactly like Babe Ruth's. We're in the same position. And they talked about this field. They said Joe Namath, Joe Montana. There was just a string of guys, that went on to play professionally that never hit a home run in that park. The only way you hit a home run, you have to hit an inside the park home run. Nobody ever hit a home run in this park except me, lands on this train, and it goes to the eastern side of Pennsylvania because I was from western Pennsylvania. So there was a big article in the paper and, about all the hits I had and home runs and all that kind of stuff. But that last home run was a mistake. I was scared. And I was bailing out, as they called it, getting out of the way, but my hand stayed back, and the guy threw the ball so hard, Vic Worry, that it just went out. And so that was probably the longest home run I ever hit. and it was a mistake. And I didn't even swing that hard. It was like protection. But I'll never forget that because it was probably the first time that I ever feared standing in the box because most of the pitchers in those days were right-handed. So I would always see the ball coming from the other side. There's no threat. You're a right-hander. You have to kind of cross the plate to get to me, to hit me. I could get out of the way. But with a left-hander, there were only a couple guys, and this Vic Worry was probably the best. Never even heard about him anymore. I thought he would be a top-notch pitcher in the major leagues, but what happens in the minor leagues is just people get tired of playing. And, you know, you get injured, you get hurt. You know, you just don't want to play anymore. You lose your enthusiasm for playing baseball. At that time, the Vietnam War was going on, and I got a letter that said they were going to draft me. It wasn't a draft. They didn't say they were going to draft me, but they said they were going to. So I said, I'm not going in the Army. I'm going in the Air Force. So I went in the Air Force, and turns out I became a rescue guy on a helicopter. And I was in Vietnam, Korea, Thailand, you know. But I didn't get hurt. I was in one gun battle. But the whole time, all of this is going on, I'm still playing ball. So the Air Force had just stopped playing baseball. I went to Lackland Air Force Base, 1965, the 26th of August. Got off the bus, and the TI says, "Who's played high school baseball?" And they told you that these are people giving me advice when I went in the military. Don't volunteer for anything. No matter what you do not volunteer. So I got off the bus, the TI's there, and okay, who played baseball? Put my hand up. Me and a guy from Ypsilanti, Michigan. It's funny, I remember these things. I don't remember his name, but I remember he's from Ypsilanti. This was a bad dude. He played tight end because we played football while we were in basic training. So they were having the championships at Lackland Air Force Base. And I played with, there were about 3 guys on that team that played professional baseball, and they were there. And I played on that team, and I batted third. On this team with these professional baseball players, I batted third, which is normally your best hitter bats third. And we won the championship, and then we won the Air Force championship, and we lost the Armed Services championship. But all of this is going on while I'm in basic training. But these are the last games. So I did no training. All I did was play sports. So then football comes up, flag football. And the coach who coached baseball coached the football team. So me and this guy from Ypsilanti, Michigan, played on the base team. And I guess I was there 8 weeks. I think it was 6 or 8 weeks. But anyway, went into football season, and I played football. And they tried to keep me at Lackland Air Force Base. And I said, I'm not staying here. I went the hell out of Texas. I'm never living in Texas. And so my first assignment was Nellis Air Force Base. So I went there. The first thing they did was, do you play football? Yeah, I play football. Okay, we got a team that we play annually. We play against the Navy at Fort Meade, or Lake Meade. And every year we play them. So I became the quarterback on that team. And then later on, the next sport came was basketball. I played there, and then softball. So I played slow pitch softball, first time ever. And then I got shipped to North Carolina, and I played fast pitch softball. But I didn't play baseball again until I was at Ramstein in Germany, and I played first base. And they had a baseball team there. I actually played on the baseball team and the fast pitch team, and that was not easy to do. And sometimes the schedules would get mixed up, and I'd have to choose which one I was playing, or I'd play baseball in the morning and fast pitch in the afternoon. So baseball and fast pitch softball was my primary sports that I played all my life. I quit playing softball when I was 52. I was on a base team, and Yeah. No. I was 40 something because you were born then. Because I remember at Yokota, I was playing and, I was a senior enlisted advisor then. Because I remember you riding on the bike. You probably forgot this, but your first time ever riding your bike by yourself, we lived right next to the hospital. And you and I were in the hospital parking lot. And you were just pedaling, and I just let the bike go. And you thought I was still holding the bike. And then I yelled at you, "Hey, Trent, you're riding your bike by yourself." I don't remember if you crashed, but you did stop. But I think the bike kind of fell over. But you were all happy. You were riding a bike by yourself, no training wheels. So I remember that. But that was the last time that I played, fast pitch softball.